Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Daniel and today we're going to tie this. This is a pattern that's developed in Denmark, but it's a pattern that will catch salmon all over the world. It's called the Pluck Francis, and the idea here is to have a fly that is quite heavy, so it gets down deep, but it also starts to fish the second it hits the water. There is a lot of metal things here, which basically ensures that this fly will start fishing as soon as it hits the water. It's a fly that has caught just an enormous amount of salmon and sea trout here in Denmark, but also in both Norway and Sweden and Iceland. So this is a great pattern. It's a pattern that is a bit different from a lot of other things. So it would be a great pattern to have as a supplement to all the classic patterns you probably have if you salmon fish or fish for sea trout when they enter the river. So stay tuned and watch how we tie the Pluck Francis. Awesome fly. So the first thing we need is a plastic tube. The Future Fly has a diameter of, and this is going to be made primarily or exclusively with Future Fly materials. So I've taken a 1.8 millimeter tube because that is the size of the holes in all the Future Fly things. And the first thing you need to do with a tube fly is to melt a small dentation here. I keep forgetting what that's called. Collar, yeah, of course, a collar, not column. That's something quite different. A collar, thank you, Stefan. So you can see now we have the small collar here, and I'm just gonna blow a bit on that to harden it up. Then we attach that to the tube fly needle. By the way, the tube fly needle here is just something you buy individually on its own. It fits any vise. It's really simple. This is the Pro Sportsfisher one. Great one. It's the strongest of all of them because it's made from industrial grade steel. So this will last really a long time. And the first thing we need is a cone head in the metallic gold one. And we add one of these to keep the material spread out and to give this to make the fly move a bit more water. So add one of these as the start of the fly here. Tie some tying thread all the way up to there. Cut away the thread here, and then we're gonna make the tail. So as I said, this is a great fly in both yellow and in red as well. So I bring both the red and the yellow for different water types and water levels and the coloration of the water. But I'm sure that you could make this fly in a lot of other cool combinations that would really perform well. I think a black one would be awesome as well. A black one perhaps mixed with a bit of blue or a bit of orange. I think a blue one would look awesome as well. But you know, you can when you've seen the full video, you'll know how to do this, and you can mix and match whatever you like. But the first thing we need is some hairs from opossum. And basically you can buy a piece of leather like this, and you can cut your own songer wings from this. But the hairs here are really awesome for smaller wings, like on this fly here. And basically I just take a small bundle, cut it directly off the leather here. Then I try to distribute a bit out between my fingers, and then the trick here, and this is a bit tricky because you have to have this kind of go all the way around the actual tube here. So I apply a bit of tying thread, but not a lot of pressure, and then with my thumb I try to get the hairs to be evenly distributed all the way around the tube here. So there's going to be something all the way around the tube. There we go. Then I apply a bit more pressure so it stays in place. I'm going to cut away all the hairs here in front, And for this you need a quite good scissor. You can pull it up along the tube here, and then basically when you come to the tying thread, you can just cut away. There we go. And now comes the most tricky part of this fly. Actually, the only thing that I would say is a bit tricky. And that is the alignment and the distribution of these boar bristles. Boar bristles are these really coarse hairs that do not have, I won't say that they do not have any movement in the water, because they will have some, but it's not very much, and it's just strange that this material was basically ever tried for fly tying, because it's just so stiff and strange to work with. But for some reason, this just works. It just works and works and works, and has an almost mythical, magical properties in regards to catching sea trout and salmon. It just works. So, and I have a lot of patterns using these. So we're gonna take 4 of these, and we're gonna distribute these so they are spaced evenly all the way around, ideally with a 90-degree angle between them. I mean, I don't think that the salmonists are going to count the angles, but it's gonna look better and in the box, and the flies that look the best in the box are the flies you pick the first, and the flies you pick the first are the one you believe the most in. And if you have a fly in the water that you believe in, well, then your chances are better to actually catch a fish. Because if you believe in what you're doing, you pay more attention. If you pay more attention, you'll see all the different small changes in the current, and you'll maybe see, oh, maybe there is a rock there, maybe I should present the fly in this way out there, and so on. So I know it sounds strange, but if you take pride in your craft and in your way of tying flies, and you are, I mean, the most important thing is to be satisfied with the result. And if you are that, you will fish the fly better, and it will catch more fish. So now I only need the last one to go underneath here. These should be slightly longer than the tail, so they are kind of like antennae, and yeah, antennae, I think it's called. It's a Latin word, so the how to exactly pronounce a Latin word in English is, not my strong suit, but you get the drift. So I see I don't have these completely aligned in completely 90 degrees, but for my fishing, this will be enough. There we go. And I only apply more pressure to this, and that's why the GSP thread here is so great, because you can really apply some pressure once you're sure that they are placed where you want them to be placed. Because the hairs are so stiff here, it's a bit difficult to cut them off without having them moving. But I find that if you simply bend this carefully, and then you can not break them, but bend them, and then it's easier to cut away without them changing position. So there we have something that is, it's okay. It's maybe, one of them is maybe 88 degrees, I would say. Roughly 88.5 degrees, I would say. But that's close enough for comfort for me. So now we need to get some dubbing to cover up this where we tied down all of this. And you can use, any type of dubbing, as long as it has some sparkle. So the SLF prism would be great. For this here, I'm using the Salmon Supreme, one of my all-time favorite go-to dubbings for basically almost everything. And I just make a small bundle of the dubbing here to cover up my tying thread. There we go. And then I basically just move my thread in front of the small bundle here, and then I make a whip finish. Because the fly here, as I said, it's not difficult. It's fairly easy to tie to fill a box quite fast. Cut away the thread. You can apply some Sabagap here if you want, but it's not strictly necessary, because this is going to be covered up by the weight of the fly, which is going to be 2 different sizes of the future fly tube fly beads. And here you can again change things up. These are made from brass, but Future Fly makes the exact same color in tungsten, and the tungsten is a lot more dense, has a much higher density than the brass ones, which will make your fly sink even faster. So I just take these two and just push them all the way up here, and make sure that you really push. And as you can see, I can push this, and this again will make every one of the other materials pop a bit out, because I really push everything together here. So there we go. And now for the finishing touch, I'm gonna take my tying thread and then realign it, remount it, and in front of the 4mm bead. So this is 5, this is 4. You can do 2 5s or 2 4 if you want. I mean, you can change that as much as you like. You can also have 1 brass and 1 tungsten. You know, whatever you think is the right combination for your fishing. And now we need a small hackle to really make this fly come together. And for this, I'm gonna use a small soft hackle. Just in yellow. As always, you can buy these in packs of loose feathers, but the odds are you will of course get a lot of feathers, but the odds are for any particular pattern in any particular size, you will not get that many feathers of that particular, you know, that you're doing. So as always, I recommend that you go out and you use a bit of money to buy a cape or a saddle, because then you will have, first of all, better quality of the individual feathers, but you will also have a lot of options in regards to size that you will not have from a cheap bag of indistinguishable feathers, because the persons who probably pack those packages of loose feathers, they're not fly tyers, they're not fly fishermen, they're just somewhere along some line just ripping off feathers and just stamping them into a bag. I think I haven't seen it done in real life, so I don't know, but that's just what I imagine, because some of the times you get a really great bag, but other times you get a bag that is very far from ideal. So as always, I strongly urge you, recommend you that you get a complete either a whiting or a Ewing hen saddle, and the soft hackles are hen feathers. No. Yeah, they're hen, of course. They're hen, not rooster. They're hen. I just got things mixed up in my head. That tends to happen sometimes. So not too many turns of this. This is just gonna be a small amount of hackle here in front to make the fly look a certain way. There we go. Then I'm gonna cut away the rest of this hackle, and actually you probably could use this for the next fly as well. I mean, it's not much, but that you have here, but it makes the fly look better. Again, talking about that with the fly that comes together and the fly you pick from the box and the efficiency of which you fish and stuff. Then I'm gonna do the last whip finish. Cut off my tying thread, and I see I have a bit of leftover stuff here that I need to cut away without actually mangling my hackle. There we go. Then I'm gonna take some Sabagap, just a really small amount here. And try not to get too much into your hackle. And then the first of the discs here, the cone heads, was a size 6mm. Then we're gonna finish off with a 4mm to tie the fly together, and to again make sure that the hackle here is protected, and that we have even more weight on here. And basically the last thing you need to do is, this is a prototype of something, but the Future Fly have a hackle tool like this that has a hole here, and then you can just pull this off with the Future Fly hackle tool. For some reason I misplaced my Future Fly one, and then you can cut away the tube, so you have maybe a millimeter, maybe 1.5, maybe 2, 1.876, 1.876 millimeters is the perfect and ideal, of course, for this. And then you basically just melt this really carefully all the way up to the cone head. Then you put it back on your sportsfish or tube fly needle. And there you have it. The complete and done France Easy. Now, this is not a France Easy. This is a fly very similar, but this is the Pluck Francis. And again, in yellow and in red are the two best colors. So there you have it, the yellow Pluck Francis. As I said, you can substitute the boar bristles for rubber legs if you like that. But otherwise, the two colors that have been most successful are the yellow one and the red one. And I have the full and complete material kit for these two flies in my webshop. It's called Nordic Anglers, and it would mean a lot to me if you would swing by and take a look at our very, very big selection of fly tying and fly fishing equipment in general. And should you happen to find something that you need, then we ship worldwide, so do not hesitate to do that. Otherwise, it would mean a lot to me if you would subscribe to the channel. Well, I guess there's nothing left to say, but this fly is an awesome pattern. It catches a lot of fish, and you need one in your fly box. Of course, as always, good luck out on the water.